All right, welcome to our class today. So we continue from where we ended in our previous class. So last time in our two previous classes, we had already introduced our course, which is purchasing and materials management. So on materials and purchase management. So in this course, we are simply just going to be looking at how you can be able to employ various methods to ensure that you make the right and appropriate purchasing of materials required to implement your given project. Then apart from that, whilst you purchase or procure those materials, again you need to be able to know how you can be able to store those materials, maintain them, sustain them until their time of use comes up. So that's basically what we will be looking at in this course. Then we looked at in our previous class the various importances of this course, or how this department is beneficial towards an organization in implementing its given projects or various objectives. So now today we are going to start by looking at the purchasing activities that are involved under purchasing in an organization. So there are two major forms of purchasing activities that take place in an organization. The first one is known as tactical purchasing, and then the second one is known as strategic sourcing. Tactical purchasing, the organization requires some materials for the smooth flow of production. The day-to-day of materials flow is called tactical purchasing. These activities generally ensure that products and services are delivered to the right intent of people at the right time, but are often not carried out using a long-term horizon. All right, so as an organization, okay, that is operating, there are various or different types of activities that are involved. There are certain activities that will require day-to-day resources for them to function taken. Without these resources being allocated to these activities, then there will be a disruption in the flow of production or operation of this given activity. Therefore, this is where tactical purchasing comes in. So, tactical purchasing comes in to ensure that these activities are being fed and to maintain, okay, the smooth flow of production in the given organization. So that's the first one. The second, so the purchasing which affects the long-term profitability is called strategic purchasing. Okay, strategic sourcing is a part of purchasing activity, but is a broader sense. In the strategic sourcing process, they may include members from other than purchasing department, like from engineering, quality, design, manufacturing, marketing, and accounting department for managing, developing, and integrating with supplier capabilities to achieve competitive advantage like cost reduction, technology development, quality improvement, and cycle time reduction. All right, so when it comes to now strategic sourcing, we're trying to look at resources that are being purchased for the aggregate decisions, okay, or the decisions that will affect the company's profitability in the long term, okay. Since this one is a big deal, okay, it is very important that you must be able to not just involve the purchasing department, but also other departments. So for example, if you are trying to procure certain resources, you need to involve the engineering department that knows the right quality and also the quantity or the amount of resources that are required. Then after that, you also need to involve the accounting department. So the accounting department, they will come in to help evaluate the proper value of those same resources. Then they also try to look at the best prices available on the market that they will be able to take advantage of in order to ensure that they are able to purchase the right resources but also at a very good price. And then apart from that, you might also need the marketing department. So this again depends with the type of resources you want to procure. Okay, so it might even be, maybe let's say you're trying to employ people. Okay, so you're trying to procure skilled labor. So in trying to procure skilled labor, you might need an advert, and the marketing department, they will be the ones that will know the right and appropriate marketing strategy to employ to ensure that you are able to acquire the right skills of labor that you want or are looking for. And then other things also involved, so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, when we look at tactical purchasing, we're simply just looking at the day-to-day operation of an organization. Okay, so those events that are required in the day-to-day operations of a given organization, and this one you don't really have to involve a lot of people, and it can be carried out simply by individuals or an individual department, just to ensure that there is a smooth flow or a continued smooth flow of production or operation of a given organization. However, when it comes to the long-term profitability of a given organization, you need to involve other departments, and this activity falls under the purchasing activities. So those are the two activities that fall under purchasing. Then now we have got what is known as the types of purchases. So under the type of purchases, we also have got mainly just two categories. So the first category is known as an individual purchase. So individual or personal purchase includes those types of items or products which are purchased for personal or family consumption. Okay, so here we see the purchasing or procurement of goods and services or items specifically meant for personal or family consumptions. Factors influencing individual purchase behavior include, so in general, there are mainly four types of influence factors, or factors that influence this type of individual purchase. So the first one is cultural factors, second, social factors, third, personal factors, and then fifth, psychological factors. So whenever you are making decisions with regards to personal purchases, there are mainly four influences or factors that influence that decision that you want to make. So we have got the first one here, which is based with from the culture where you're coming from. People come from different cultures. So maybe let's say you're trying to buy food, and from your culture, you have got a staple food. The staple food, for example, in China is rice. So you would definitely think of buying rice. Okay, so that's culture now influencing you. If you come in Africa, there's Nshima. So you more likely buy Nshima. If you go to other countries, I'm not really sure if it's correct, but from what I know is in America, the staple food is wheat. So as you are making your personal purchases, you probably think of buying wheat or bread. Element of culture affecting or influencing your purchasing behavior. Apart from that, we have got also other factors such as social factors, we have got personal factors, and then we also have got psychological factors. So under social factors, these are simply just it can be social norms, or it can be things to do with the society where you live in, and how it is how purchasing may be perceived. So for example, we can say you are living in a society where it is perceived that at least you should eat some nshima in a day, okay, for you to be able to operate or function in that society. They believe that nshima is a very good source of energy, therefore you should at least eat some nshima. So that itself will affect or influence your purchasing behavior, in that you are more likely to buy nshima or the things that are required, or the resources that are required for you to be able to get or prepare that nshima. The third one is simply personal factors, which can be just a personal decision that you make. You might decide to say, okay, so today I want to eat rice and potatoes, or today I'm just going to eat bread, or maybe I'm going to eat cassava or sweet potatoes. That's just up to you. And then last but not the least, we have got the psychological factors. So under factors, it might depend with the psychological experiences that you are having yourself. Maybe you might perceive that there's a smell that you don't like coming from a certain type of food, so it might affect your psyche. And once your psychology is affected, you might disregard buying certain foodstuffs, or maybe a smell or taste that reminds you of something, okay, and that might influence you to buy that given product. So all in all, these are the 4 factors that can influence your purchasing behavior or decision as an individual. All right, so that is on the first type of purchase. Now the second type of purchase, which is known as an organizational purchasing. So a purchase will be considered to be organizational if it is made in the name of a company or organization, regardless of size, from a medium-sized company up to a multinational or state company. Organization consists of business, industries, retailers, wholesaler, government, and non-government organization. So here, what they are simply just saying is every purchase that is made under the name of an organization. It doesn't matter whether there are 2 people in that organization, if there's only 1 person in that organization, as long as it's a registered organization and the purchase has been made in the name of that organization, then that purchase will be considered under organizational purchase. Of course, we have to put into mind that organizations vary in size. We have got small, medium organizations. We have got organization. We have got micro organizations, and so on and so forth. So business industries purchase materials for business use as a raw material to produce other products. So when we talk about these industries, we also have to understand that we have got different categories or types of businesses through which these organizations can exist in. So organizations that exist in the industry usually purchase materials, okay, raw materials that they can be able to use or combine so that they can be able to come up with products. We've got organizations that are in the wholesalers or retailers industry, where they are able to buy product from the manufacturer, and then they are able to resell it, okay, for a profit. So they want, for example, the wholesaler, he or she won't be able to sell it directly to the customers, but the main theme here is able to make a profit by reselling those products that he has gained. Then we have got government organizations which purchase products for use in offices or provide services to people. So a good example we can give is the government purchasing public goods. So an example of a public good might be, maybe let's say, building of roads. Okay, so the government might build a road for the use of civilians or citizens. And then apart from that, they might purchase or they might simply just purchase computers for a given government institution, so that those computers might be used in that given government institutions. And yeah, they can buy all sorts of things that can be used by civilians or should be used by people in government offices. Then we also have got organizations that are non-government organizations that also purchase products to provide services to their client. Alright, then now we have got a distinction between consumer purchasing and industrial purchasing. Now, before we can make these distinctions, we need to understand what they mean by consumer purchasing and industrial purchasing. Okay, so consumer purchasing here is just simply the first category of purchasing that we talked about, which involves an individual or a single entity that is making a decision in trying to procure or purchase goods and services. Then under industrial purchase here, we are simply talking about an organization or organizational purchase. So the first distinction between these two is that when we are dealing with a consumer purchase or a purchase that is being made by an individual, this purchase is usually less risky. However, when we talk about an industrial purchase or an organizational purchase, this purchase is more likely to be more risky, in that under organizational purchases, we tend to purchase goods and services or resources in much more bulk quantities. Okay, therefore, any mistake will result in a lot of losses as compared to the purchasing made under an individual or a consumer. Another thing is, when we are making consumer purchasing, purchases are influenced by emotions or can easily be influenced by emotions or impulses. Okay, so you can just wake up today and maybe get triggered, like, oh, okay, I think maybe I should buy such and such a product. Okay, maybe you might feel like let's say maybe you are a female, you discover that your fellow neighbor has bought a wig, then you feel like you also need to buy a wig. So you are letting your emotions influence you to make decisions with regards to buying a wig. However, when we are talking about purchases under an organization or a company, decisions are not made emotionally. Okay, decisions should be analytical and rational. There should be some logic applied to it, a reason as to why we should make this plan so as to ensure that all our purchases are strategic and tactical. Okay, so that is the second major difference to distinguish a consumer or individual purchase from an industrial purchasing. So when you are making a purchase as an individual, you have got the right to make your own purchases. You know, you purchase based on how you feel like, that's your money, and so on and so forth. However, when we talk about industrial purchasing, you should ensure that you use logic and you are rational, in that any mistake might result in you ending up to lose money and other people's money. Okay, you might have maybe investors that might have invested in your organization, so you might end up making losses or losing other people's money. So purchases under industrial organization should be logical and analytical. The last and the third distinguishment between consumer and industrial purchasing: personal purchasing is sometimes unplanned or on the spot or abrupt buying influenced by promotional activity. So this one is a bit linked to the second one, where we talked about how under consumer or individual purchasing, you can be simply influenced by emotions. So there are sometimes when we get to see promotions being advertised on certain goods and services. And then once we see those promotions, we can be triggered, okay, to buy those goods and services because we have seen there is a promotion or there is a discount. Therefore, we can make unplanned purchases. Sometimes it may be that you might just be going through a certain shop, and from all of a sudden you just see this product that you seem to like. From all of a sudden, it may be a pair of shoes, it might be maybe a pair of clothes, might be a suit. Then from nowhere, you just get triggered and decide to make this purchase, which is an unplanned. However, industrial or organizational purchase, every purchase that you make should have some scientific analysis attached to it. So there has to be some form of committee or departmental agreement, and it has to be based on some scientific support as into why this product should be purchased and how is this product going to benefit the organization's profitability. All right, so this is where we end for our class today. We come tomorrow. When we come next week, why this is overflowing. Next week, we shall continue by looking